Welcome back. The conversations continue here at Davos 2025. As I've been telling you, it is an India-first approach that has been taken here with, of course, the central government and the states coming together quite literally under two roofs, presenting the India story to the world here in Davos. Joining me now is the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis. Sir, thank you very much for joining us here on CNBC-TV18. That's magnetic Maharashtra and bullish Tamil Nadu in the same space at this point in time, and that's the approach that India has decided to take. In fact, you've just come away from a session where the three Indian chief ministers present in Davos were presenting the India story. So there's cooperation and competition playing out at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me here. And I must tell you that this was a real example of One India, how our Prime Minister contemplates. Because we are here with a cooperative federalism as well as competitive federalism. All of us were pitching our own states for investment, but at the same time on the forums, we were talking about India. And I think at Davos, people, we could see people were talking about only two states, two countries. One was America and other was India. So I think the Indian story is well told in Davos. And we tried our best to pitch our own state stories as well.
Well, so let's talk about that pitch. So what has the Maha pitch resulted in terms of MoUs? The last count I had was about 50 plus. Where are you now?
Yeah. So it's 60 plus and around $200 billion. Okay. So it's huge investment that is coming, and it is coming in diverse sectors. We could actually we had MoUs with, giants like Amazon, Microsoft into data centers. We had a lot of MoUs into manufacturing. We had a lot of MoUs into new technologies. We have a lot of MoUs into manufacturing. Manufacturing is, of course, our own forte.
Yes.
So a lot of MoUs have gone into manufacturing. And I think, you name the sector and we have got the investment there.
Yes, including on the logistics side, the warehousing side as well. I know that there's stuff that's happened there, and on the chip side as well.
Yes.
So if you can give us a little more detail and a little more color on some of those investments.
It's like VIT, we had a MoU with VIT, who are working on chip side. I've told you about data centers. We have investment in steel manufacturing. We have investment in defense manufacturing. We have investment in, let's say, education. So foreign universities are coming to Maharashtra. We have, we are actually creating a EduCity in New Mumbai.
Okay.
And we aspire to host at least 10 rated foreign universities there. So we have already are in active talk with 4. And I think all the 4 have said yes. 2 of them have already come. So I think it's a good going.
It's a good going. But you talked about the manufacturing sector, and you also said that the focus here in Davos is either on what's happening in America or what's happening in India.
Yes.
But what could the impact be of what's happening in America in light of President Trump saying, look, we have to make America great again, which means that you have to make in America at this point in time. Is that coloring or weighing on sentiment as people look at expansion, global expansion, particularly in countries like India?
See, I don't think that will have too much impact on India. You see, India is in a position where the world cannot ignore us. And, the way the supply chain was disrupted during COVID, now world over the manufacturing understands that new supply chains are to be created. And for them, the new supply chain destination can be India, because we have democracy, we have demography, we have demand. And now I think we are in a position to supply to the world. So as a chief minister, I am actually interacting with a foreign investor every single day. And huge interests are there from Europe, from Japan, from Korea, from you name the country, and they are coming.
You've reclaimed the #1 spot on the FDI list.
Yes, we did. And I'm very happy to share that cumulatively now we are 35%, but in last 6 months, we have garnered 40% of the FDI that came to India.
When foreign investors are looking at investing in a state, in a country, and then of course in a state like Maharashtra, what are they asking you? Approvals, speedy approvals, land. I mean, these are, of course, you know, the obvious ones.
Yes.
What are they asking you today?
See, I would say that, first of all, investors see, you know, the history of the state, how the governments have performed. And I think they have seen our government from 14 to 19 and again last 2 years. So they know that we are business-friendly people. They know that we have a system in place which gives fast approvals. We understand that ease of doing business and cost of doing business are two parameters on which if the government doesn't work, then investment won't come. So we have worked more on that. And having said that, you know, one more thing is very important, that is human resource, because they scout for human resource, and Maharashtra is one place where a lot of human resources available. Maharashtra has always been at the forefront of technology revolution. So we are fintech capital. Now we are startup capital as well, because in the recent startup report, Startup India report, we have claimed the number one position in terms of numbers as well as in terms of investment. So now the startup capital of India is Maharashtra. So we have startup, we actually host 60% of the data center capacity of India. So I think they see our industrial parks, which are well developed industrial parks. We have our one portal which serves everything for a new investor, and I think our approachability is also very easy. So investors are coming.
Well, you know, speaking about funding growth as well as driving growth, the infrastructure build-out has been a big part of the story. And of course, you've been driving that for the state of Maharashtra as well. CapEx, and that has been the single biggest growth driver over the last few years, both at the level of the center as well as at the state's end. What is the plan as far as CapEx is concerned, especially for the year? Will you be able to meet the targets that have been set out?
Yeah, I think we'll be able to meet the targets, because right now in the state like Maharashtra, you know, there are so many different ways through which you can raise the capital and you can invest the capital. So if you look at now the different ways through which we are creating our infrastructure, we are investing into our industrial parks, we are investing into our technology startups. I think a lot of capital investment is going on, and I'm absolutely sure that Maharashtra is one state where even you know, the bankers believe that this state never falters. So banks are also ready to give us, multilateral funding agencies are ready to give us, and now for the first time the private equity funds or private debt funds, they also believe that they can invest into government projects, or they can also invest into the private sector. So a lot of investment is coming from you know, funding agencies or private funds.
I want to ask you about the current balance sheet position, fiscal deficit on the higher side, above that 3% ceiling. You know, what do you do now in terms of being able to raise resources, raise revenues? What will the plan be on that front?
So first of all, yes, our balance sheet is little stressed than how it used to be because of certain our schemes. But having said that, I must tell you that we are still below 3%. So we'll present our budget next month, and in the budget you will see the figures that we were able to maintain you know, our deficit less than 3%. But I think our main you know, main thing which we want to do is that although we don't want to close our schemes, we want to you know, make them more vibrant, make them more popular. At the same time, we don't want to you know, lower down on our ability to deploy capital investment. And for that, we have an approach whereby we are deciding that this year at least this much should be the capital investment, and we are working reverse. And we are actually you know, getting that investment from different avenues, so that the fiscal you know, spirit goes on, and the growth is not affected. So I don't think that the growth will be affected. We'll have enough capital investment, and will set the ball rolling.
How much of an increase should we realistically expect? I know you can't give us a number, but realistically, what should we expect in terms of the kind of budget-to-budget outlay increase on capital expenditure?
So I think at least it should be 20%.
At least 20%.
Yes.
But you also talked about the balance that needs to be done to fund the welfare schemes, and that is a challenge for all state governments at this point in time. So are you looking at reviewing any of those schemes? I mean, the big one for you through the course of the elections, the Ladki B scheme, do you foresee the need to review that scheme in any form or fashion?
No, we are not reviewing the scheme, but when the scheme was announced, there were certain parameters set for the beneficiaries, like the beneficiary should not be income tax payee, they should not own a four-wheeler, they should not have income more than 2,50,000 per annum. So we have encountered cases where this is breached, and people have taken disadvantage. Only those cases which are not fit, which do not fall in the parameters, we'll work on those cases only. Otherwise, the scheme will go on.
Is there a large number of ineligible, people who have been able to access the scheme?
Yeah, there's a large number. Not very large, but still it's a large number.
And by when do you hope to be able to rectify this?
We have already started. So by various means, first we are working on data. We are not verifying home to home, case to case. We are first working on data. And the four-wheeler records, the income tax records, we are working on that. So once we collect the data, we'll get the number, and then it will be based on certain other parameters that we'll verify. And those who are ineligible, we'll tell them that, look, it's not for you.
Can you give us a quantum of what the quantity could be of those who have accessed the scheme that are not
Initially,
eligible?
I feel that it should be 20 lakh.
20 lakh people who are not eligible have been able to access the scheme, and that verification process is ongoing at this point in time. Additional measures to be able to raise resources, monetization plans of any kind at this point?
Yes. We are trying to monetize our assets. We are trying to use many instruments like securitization. We have so many roads which we have built, the Samruddhi Expressway which we have built. So we actually incurred a cost of 55,000 crores, but we estimate that once we securitize it, we can get more than 60,000 crores. So these are certain things which we want to monetize. We have recently monetized one of our plot in Bandra, where we could get more than 2,000 crores. We recently also monetized one plot of metro, where the plot was created because of metro. And I'm very happy to share that although we expected that we will get 2,000 crore, but RBI offered us 2,600 crores, and they want to build their main office there. So I think it's going.
So real estate monetization underway at this point in time. In terms of accelerating growth further, any additional measures at this point in time that you're looking at? And I would imagine perhaps the budget may have some more announcements, but
I would say that right now we want to invest more in infrastructure. So creating ports, airports, roads, it's on card. We are creating a grid of access control roads. So what we are essentially doing is we are looking at either equity partners or debt partners to acquire the land. Because land acquisition is the only thing which requires money. Once you acquire the land, all banks are ready to finance. So now we have decided that from various instruments and various sources, we'll acquire the land and then we'll build the roads on either PPP or BOOT or hybrid method. So I think whether it is road, ports or airports, our investment will not go down. It will go up and up.
How many more airports? I mean, Navi Mumbai is yet to be operationalized. On track?
It's on track. On 17th April, the domestic terminal will be opened. By end of June, the international terminal will be open. Now we'll be building one more port at Vadhavan, because at Vadhavan we are creating India's largest port. And I requested the Honorable Prime Minister that since we are creating a port here, we also have our high-speed railway there. So let us have an airport there. So Prime Minister has announced that we'll have an airport there. So third airport for Mumbai will be built there. We are building an airport at Pune, new airport at Pune. We are building a brownfield airport at Nagpur. We are expanding at Shirdi. So many airports we are building now.
So a lot of focus there as far as airports are concerned. There's also been a lot of speculation on the possibility of a new policy coming in place to try and decongest Mumbai specifically, that only if you have available parking spots will you be able to purchase a car. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We are thinking of that because you see, ultimately we have to decongest and in Mumbai we have actually created so many spaces for public parking, and now we are bringing all the parking spaces on app. So there's a possibility that if you don't have a parking space, you can buy a parking space or you can rent a parking space from the municipal corporation. But buying a car without a parking space and parking it on the road, that congests the city, and also there are so many traffic jams because of that.
Yeah.
So this is one of the policies which we are thinking of.
So likely to be out anytime soon?
Yeah, very soon.
So what will you prioritize? I mean, you've given us a very clear focus on infrastructure, which continues to be the number one priority. Outside of that, what will you prioritize for 2025?
So I think our now biggest priority is also water issues, because I think water sustainability is something which is very important. We are doing 4 river linking projects. Maharashtra is one state where 52% of our area is drought prone. For this area, these 4 projects will provide water, will be almost drought free because of these projects. With the help of central government, we will be doing that. And apart from that, we are into energy transition. So by 2022, until 2022, our energy basket was just, let's say 13% renewable. By 26, it will be 25% renewable. By 2030, it will be 52% renewable. So huge investments are going on into renewables. And we are also transforming all our public transport into electric, and we are going green. We have already placed an order for 5,000 electric buses for Mumbai, 5,000 buses for rest of Maharashtra. We already have 1,000 buses fleet in Pune. We have fleet in Mumbai, in Nagpur. So I think we want to transform entire public transport and we want it to go green. So a lot of work is going around sustainability as well. And of course, I've told you that we are building an innovation city near Mumbai. This innovation city will host all the innovations and it will be powered by AI. So we want to be the first in the space of AI and innovation.
Okay, and have you spoken with tech companies who's decided to come on board for that?
Many tech companies are coming, and right now we are at a stage where a master plan is being done. And I'm happy to tell you that Mr. N. Chandra of Tata Sons, they have volunteered to do the master plan. They have good resources, they have good connect in the technology world. So I think they will do the master plan. Already when we announced, many tech companies have approached us and they want to be part of it. So we'll create an ecosystem for innovation, and that will be one of its kind city.
You know, you said that sustainable development is going to be a key priority as far as your government is concerned. Sustainability, as far as your finances are concerned, how much will you prioritize there? You just gave us an indication that you will be under the 3% ceiling as far as fiscal deficit is concerned. But do you have a glide path that you're moving towards on where you would like the state finances to be?
So I'll tell you, we have actually created a long-term strategy, because, bringing sustainability in finances is not a short-term measure.
Yes.
It is a long-term measure, but we have a plan in place, which is a long-term plan. I think our finances or our fiscal space will be at ease by next 5 to 7 years.
Next 5 to 7 years. So that's what you're working towards.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Fadnavis, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. We wish you the very best of luck with converting those 60+ MoUs into investments back home in Maharashtra. But appreciate your time, and we hope that you probably by the time you leave here get more done.
Hope so. Thank you so much.
That is the Chief Minister of Maharashtra there, taking us through many of the MoUs that have been inked here across a whole range of different sectors, from manufacturing to technology, and of course the plans that they have on furthering the infrastructure build-out for the state of Maharashtra, which of course is a work in progress already. But we will take a break here. The conversations continue. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with you on CNBC-TV18 with Davos 2025. Welcome back. You're watching our continuing coverage here from Davos 2025. I'm Sheeren. Bhan. As we've been telling you, India is being represented here by her states. One of the states attempting a turnaround but also a comeback is the state of Andhra Pradesh. The original Davos man from an Indian state's perspective, Chandrababu Naidu, is back here in Davos. He started his Davos journey in '97 and he has returned in 2025 to try and make a sales pitch to draw in investments to the state. Joining us now to talk about not just the Davos plan but also the state's turnaround strategy is Nara Lokesh. Many thanks for joining us here in Davos. Before I move any further, a very happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Sheeren. Really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Let me start by asking you about the Davos sales pitch. And we've got 6 states here representing India, and each one of them is doing a hard sell to investors. As I said, there's a turnaround plan that you are working towards, but there's also a comeback strategy here to draw in investments from investors here in Davos. Take me through what you've been able to suss out so far.
I mean, Andhra Pradesh's turnout plan started 7 months back when the new government was formed. If you look at it in the last 7 months, we make amazing progress. We have had great investments from a steel city to a data city to all the larger IT companies now coming to invest in Visakhapatnam. See, Davos for us was to send a clear message that Andhra is back. We're willing to do business all over again. Last 5 years have been very tough for Andhra Pradesh. So it's very important to give that confidence to the investors. And I see amazing energy, and people are now looking at Andhra Pradesh to make it part of their growth strategy.
You know, you said Andhra is back, open for business, and that's the message that you want to send out. You had a slew of meetings, including the likes of Bill Gates, the leadership team at Foxconn, and many other companies. But specifically, are there areas of interest? Are there areas where you will prioritize investments? Because as I pointed out, I mean, you know, everyone's going after everybody here, including your peers. So will you focus on some specific sectors to build those out as part of the sunrise sector's aspirations for growth?
We are the sunrise state of India. Andhra Pradesh, if you look at it, has a very diverse geography. So we are able to focus each district for a specific sector. So we have an automotive district, renewable energy district, CBG district, then we have the entire data city, the steel city coming up in North Andhra, which is Visakhapatnam. So all the sectors are open. But what I'm promising everyone is that Andhra Pradesh will deliver on speed of doing business. We're no longer competing with other states, but we want to compete with other countries like Singapore and the Middle East in terms of speed of doing business. And with that agenda, we've gone to the investors. Because if you look at it today, all the investments are a few $1 billion. And even a 6 months delay throws the entire business plan out of shape. So it's very important that governments deliver on the speed of doing business, and Andhra will lead it from the front.
Let's talk about the turnaround strategy, because, you know, we've just seen the budget, and of course there is a revenue deficit as well, and there is a fiscal deficit in excess of 4%, a revenue deficit in excess of 2%. How do you chart a turnaround from here?
Well, Mr. Naidu always loves crisis. He says that's where opportunities are. We're exactly where the erstwhile Andhra Pradesh was in '95, and we did a turnaround. I mean, look at where Telangana is today. I think Andhra Pradesh is exactly positioned there. Thanks to the Honorable Prime Minister, he's held our hand very well. He's given us amazing support on the budget and even subsequently on various other issues. That is enabling us to come out of all the rut that we were in the last 5 years. And we, you know, in about a 5-10 year time, we will contribute back to the nation building.
And there's a very ambitious target for growth as well as per capita rise that the Chief Minister has put in place by 2047. 15% growth that's being targeted, and $44,000 in per capita. That's the aspiration as well. How do you get there?
And $2.4 trillion economy from where we are today, which is 188 billion. So, I mean, we have a clear trajectory. All the ministers and ministries have been given clear targets on what they have to deliver. So in education, which is my Bharat portfolio, as I call it, there are very specific goals that we need to deliver. So we are very focused, all of us together. I'm confident that we can deliver on it. And I believe if all states work together, we can make India number 1.
But how doable is that, to get all states to work together? Because what we are seeing happen here is that, you know, everyone's essentially going after the same pie, isn't it?
Not necessarily. The pie is big enough. The world is ready to do business with India. They see India as a very strategic country for them. And one of the major reasons for that is our consistency in leadership. You know, the Honorable Prime Minister is in his 3rd term. NDA government is in its 3rd term. So the policies are very consistent, and they see that as a clear trajectory. I mean, geopolitically, there's so much of disturbance across the globe. Now, Andhra is the only country, India is the only country that's standing up bright. And in India, Andhra Pradesh is again going to be ahead of everyone else.
You know, you talked about the strength of the India story and the India advantage and opportunity at this point in time. But what we're also seeing happen as far as global events and developments go, it's President Trump back in the White House and telling people to do business in the US, to make in America, to make America great again. Do you believe that that is going to perhaps put a speed breaker of sorts, especially as far as manufacturing plans are concerned?
No, I mean, to be fair, the President of the US, Donald Trump, has also been very kind with India. And the Honorable Prime Minister and Mr. Trump have an amazing relationship. I'm sure all this will fructify and will lead to investments even in India. So I believe that we live in a global economy and India has an important role to play. And yesterday, if you look at it, even states that didn't have India governments were well represented with a clear message of India first. And I think that shows a clear message to the world that India is ready to do business.
It's not just India first, it's also AI first here in Davos. What's the plan on that front as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned?
See, in my department, which is HRD, Human Resource Development, we're going to be using AI extensively to assess students, to give prescriptive homework. So it's not going to be one homework for every child, a common homework. It's going to be very unique to them. And AI in governance is nothing new for Mr. Naidu. So real-time governance was there. Now, again, that's now under me. Once we return from Davos, you'll see a lot of activities again starting in AI in healthcare, AI in agriculture. So you'll see a lot of technology being used.
What we saw happen with Hyderabad, and of course, when in my conversation with the Chief Minister, he was talking about what he was able to deliver there with the promise and how that is helping the state of Telangana today. As far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned, the IT aspiration, the GCC aspiration, what will you leverage to try and ensure that you can replicate that success?
I mean, 20% of the global IT workforce is from the 2 Telugu-speaking states. And in that, majority of them are from my state. So we have amazing education institutions and they're ready to come back. And we are adding more workforce every year. So I think there's an amazing combination now with the Chief Minister and with the Honorable Prime Minister working together in Andhra's interest. I think there's an amazing and lethal combination. As we call double engine Sarkar. So I think our 2 engines for the jet plane. So I think we have amazing combination and we can deliver on this. And you will be hearing a lot of announcements in the next 3 months coming into Visakhapatnam, which is going to be our IT destination.
Okay. Give us a sneak peek into what kind of announcements we should expect for Visakhapatnam and for the state in general.
Well, a data city. It'll be one of the world's largest. We're going to be making a lot of announcements in that direction. So
data centers there?
Yes, data centers. And not just stopping at data centers, but building out the entire ecosystem around it. And parallelly, you will see a lot of GCC announcements, and of course, our homegrown biggies also now coming to Visakhapatnam in big numbers.
So, if I could ask you to give me a number in terms of the quantum that you are likely to stitch together for investments for this year, for 2025, for instance.
See, our target is to create 20 million jobs. 20 lakh jobs in the next 5 years, and that's a clear agenda for us. With that agenda, we're working now. If you've seen, already we have ArcelorMittal committing India's largest steel plant, and we're going to build a steel city, which is 14 million metric tons, right? And we're working with Google on the Data City project. Then we're working with BPCL to do a refinery in South Andhra. So all these projects are just about taking off.
And big aspirations on the port side of the business as well.
Absolutely.
Are you drawing in investments there?
Absolutely. And we are talking to the larger ocean liners to have Andhra Pradesh as the port of call. And we had a conversation with the largest ocean liner to actually give us a maritime strategy for Andhra Pradesh. And they're going to come back in 45 days with that strategy.
Aspiration of shipbuilding as well. Is that something that you're considering? Are you talking to global players today?
Absolutely, shipbuilding. We're talking to the Koreans. They're the biggies in the shipbuilding sector. And we're busy now scouting out for partners in India. So we're going to marry both, and we'll do it in Andhra Pradesh. And we're also talking to the larger, logistics chains like DHL to figure out, and even FedEx to figure out how Andhra can be part of their strategy in India.
So the conversations with the Koreans on shipbuilding, how far have they progressed so far?
Well, they're really excited. They see India as the next place. From the growth strategy perspective. So you'll hear good announcements in the shipbuilding probably in 6 months.
In 6 months on shipbuilding specifically. Let's talk about Amravati, because speaking of a comeback, that's making a comeback as well, and plans have been revived there. Of course, you've got some multilateral support coming in for Amravati as well. You know, from here to what you hope to actually be able to deliver and achieve, what's the timeline? What's the plan?
3 years.
3 years?
3 years, the core capital region will be ready. Because yes, last 5 years, Amravati was on a pause. Thanks to the support of Government of India, now we're able to restart the entire project. Everyone's charged up, ready. All the tendering is completed. And we're going to start work from 1st of Feb.
So tendering is done at this point, and work starts from the 1st of Feb. So who are, you know, in terms of real estate and the other aspiration of housing for all, which the Chief Minister has also promised, I mean, give me some nuts and bolts of how all of this is going to play out.
I mean, specifically in Amravati, Amravati is our knowledge society, is what we're building out there. So a lot of education institutions have already come. Two, you know, in the past life, which is 14 to 19, we've done this amazing project, which is a G+3 for low-cost housing for LIG families. And it's been a huge success. We were able to build about 600,000 houses back then. And now we have a clear mandate to do it better. So we have to do about 1 million houses. And of course, there's funds coming in from Government of India in this direction. Of course, state will also put its own funds and build this out in Amravati and also across the state. Bold
and ambitious targets that you've set for yourself. And of course, we do hope that you realize the kind of numbers that you've just given us here on CNBC-TV18. We look forward to having a conversation with you to get a status check and an update as the year progresses. But many, many thanks for joining us here in Davos, and we appreciate your time. We wish you the very best of luck. Well, that is the state of Andhra Pradesh. As I said, it is a comeback and a turnaround of sorts at this point in time. The state government is hoping to draw in investments to bolster growth rates and deliver on the ambitious targets that Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu has laid out. We're going to take a break, a lethal combination of Prime Minister Modi and Chandrababu Naidu, in Nara Lokesh's words. Back in a moment with more. Don't go anywhere. You're watching CNBC-TV18. We're live from Davos in a bit.